That's it. You got a long road ahead of you now. You got to make up a game or two because of what happened yesterday. And I know you guys are fired up. I know you want to know why. We're going to tell you tonight. It's your show. You guys run this thing. All we're here is to provide the answers. So let's get after it. Welcome to RGR Football. Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday Night Q&A, like it always is. We have the answers, or at least our perception of the answers. The Chiefs might disagree. We're going to find out. He's Dan Arms. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is Ryan Going Rogue, as you all know. And if you are new to us, hit that sub button right now so you become one of us. For all you new members, get in there, and we'll get you into the Discord as well. FLDB's in the house. I see him already. I think Aaron's going to make it tonight. We have a lot going on. So we're going to get into it. If you guys want to ask a question, we're going to answer it. Put some question marks at the beginning of it for me. That would definitely help. Helps me find it out of the chat because there is so much going on in there. I sometimes am swimming, to tell you the truth. FLDB is in the house. And if you guys would, please hit that like too. That will help us. Make sure that we get those as well and get seen by more Chiefs fans. That's always important. Super Chats get an answer absolutely no matter what. If you want to help us out, you want to support the channel, that's the way to do it. You can go to the store and grab some gear. There's links down below as well. A lot to get into. So we're going to start right now with Chiefs in the clutch. Do you think that the Chiefs will make any moves at the trade deadline? Just gut feel. Where are we acting, and what will they do?
I don't know because they don't have any room to do anything. What do we think that they could even do? Like, they're going to have to start getting money room ready before they do anything. So if they don't, the answer is nada. They can't do anything.
The only thing that they could do is they could trade dead money for cap space. So if you traded somebody with a major contract, that would offload at least a little bit of it. But you're right. And I had a long talk with Chris about this today. For those of you who don't know, I host a Locked On Chiefs show as well as Locked On NFL Draft. And Chris Clark, my partner on Locked On Chiefs, he's a cap guy. He's got it all locked down. He said, actually, the time has passed. They've paid out Patrick's bonus. So if they did anything with Patrick's contract, it would have to be next year's salary. And that just makes things that much more complex. It is a lot to do. You could try to restructure Kels. You could try to restructure Chris Jones. There are options, but none of them look good and none of them look easy. So that's going to be your first inkling. They sit right now, and I have it up on this other screen, 211,000 alive. We have a shirt. It should have been out already. I meant to do that last week. We have a shirt that says 177, hold my beer. 211 might be the new one. After this game, you got to make some room. Thanks, Chiefs, in the clutch. Scott, what does the defense have actual potential, or were the Bills holding back? I don't think the Bills were holding back. Do you?
No, it was obvious in my opinion they weren't holding back because they were generating chunk plays whenever they really wanted to. And when you look at the way that this game actually pointed out, I was pointing out to my wife, as soon as Leo Chanel came on the field, in most situations, they throw the ball. You got 3 linebackers on the field. When he came off, they were like, we got nickel, let's run the ball. And they got chunk plays every single time. And it was something I turned to my wife, I'm like, look, when he comes off, they're gonna run the ball. They ran the ball. When he came back on the field, hey, they're going to throw it. And they threw it. This happened a ton of different times. And then when they got into some key situations, that's when Spags turned it up and they actually got some good defensive plays. So they were able to generate plays really between the numbers, between the 20s. They did a good job of generating those. And then when they got into those areas, Spags, the defense really kind of tightened up. So I think the defense played particularly well and more than well enough for the Chiefs offense to win this game comfortably.
Yeah. And so to answer your question, Scott, we both feel that, yes, this defense has potential. Are they performing up to their potential yet? No. But they do have the potential to be a very good defense. That has not changed for us. Yeah, well, that too. Bill Bond, what was the Juju 15-yarder smelling his – yeah, I mean, that gesture is not enough. It had to be the words coming out of his mouth as far as I'm concerned.
Something had to have been said, but we will never know because that ref probably didn't hear it. So,
well, yeah, that's the problem. He just knew he was talking. And that comes back from the Pittsburgh days. Like, it's known that Juju's going to talk some trash. And I think they're just fired up for it. I think the refs are all over this team.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly why. My guess it has some conspiracy to do with Robert Kraft. I could be wrong. You never know. Everything kind of traces back to that pretty much all the time. So, I mean, the deal with the devil that he made just to get married is pretty impressive. So,
yeah,
cheers. Hey, what are you going to do? Alex, I feel like losing the Bills game puts more pressure on the Bills and Allen than Mahomes. Am I wrong or sort of like that? I like your perspective. It's a tighter rope to go. I don't know. I can't say undefeated, but to go on a run in the AFC and not give up a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a little bit more pressure. Now I think Patrick can play loose. I think the offense can play loose and just attack.
I hope, but I think that they're just kind of in a situation where they've lost to the Bills, they lost to the Colts, and honestly, they probably should have lost to the Raiders. Now you can say they could have gone 6-0 in that span. They could be 3-3. They haven't been playing very well, but last year they weren't playing very well, and they started off 1-2, and then 2-3. They got things on track. It's just right now about the construction of the offense, some of the play calling that we still continue to talk about, we still lean at, and being some of the issue. I think right now that the defense is not one of the reasons they're losing games, honestly, and that's a good thing. If they can get the offense figured out, they should be in a pretty good situation.
I agree. Steve, how can we improve our rushing attack? Do it more. I mean, honestly, the week that Andy kicked the O-line's butt and said, you're going to practice this, we're going to run it, they came out and they ran it.
And they were unstoppable. Like, they could do whatever they wanted to.
It's not a can-do thing. The run game for this Chiefs team is a will-do. You have to have the will to do it. That is the problem.
The Bills ran the ball 30-plus times yesterday. The Chiefs ran it 18. There was just no want to run the football for Kansas City. And when they had some plays that were actually designed well, there was that sprint out to his left and sprint out to the right, run back to the left with Clyde, where they got 10 yards on it. There were some really well-designed run plays. They didn't want to anymore. And after that, especially after Von Miller had the play where, Trey Smith is pulling and he just kind of waits and then baits him into that block and undercuts it. They pretty much said, we're done. And there was no want to really run the ball.
Yeah. Like, I feel like the staff, whether it's Andy or Mahomes or whether it's EB, the slightest miscurrents in the run game, they're like, oh, screw it. Let's go.
Pretty much.
Go back to our bread and butter, throw it around the yard. That's just the way it feels to me.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, why only 2 carries for a pack? Aren't outside zones ideal for him, saving him from for the playoffs? Outside zones are not ideal for him. I don't feel. I think he needs to run behind power to be most effective. Do you like his outside zone?
The thing about it is that people are because the Chiefs run it anyway. They're going to run it anyway, and they figure Pacheco, because right now the way it looks is that Clyde just can't get to the edge, and that's where people are seeing he's never been able to. That's never been his game. He's never been a guy who can get to the edge. So we're seeing him kind of get there, but not be able to pull away. So people are seeing, why can't Pacheco run that? The problem is they don't trust him. That's very obvious that they don't trust him to run the ball consistently, especially in short situations. He actually, one of the plays that he ran, he missed a gigantic cutback lane to his left. It was gaping. It was gaping hole, and he kind of did a little shimmy to his left. But with his speed and explosion, take it and run.
Yeah, he's got to hit it.
He has to hit it, and they don't trust him to make those decisions. So that's why you're not seeing him in short yardage.
And that's part of being a rookie. He'll get there. It's not a problem. Don't think that he's in the doghouse or anything like that. It's just a process. He's going to have to get there. Swag, looking at the Chiefs internship for next summer. So any advice, Ryan? Love the channel. Well, I hope, and I got my fingers crossed for you, Swag. I will tell you this.
Me too.
Be honest with people. If you're going to work in PR, drop Brad a note that you've been on here and you understand what actual media does. Not being a fanboy as an intern is a problem. So don't be a fanboy because that's what gets you a little farther down the line. Try to be professional. That's what it comes down to, because the league is the league and it's not this free for all that's out here in YouTube land, man. I got to tell you. Is McDuffie back for the Niners? He has a possibility. I certainly hope so.
Right now, I would say yes, because I expect him to practice this week. And like Andy Reid said, if he practices, gets through the week, he'll play. I expect him to do that. If they see a setback, then we'll have to kind of wait and see.
I fear that they may be like, hey, hopefully we won't need him for the
Yeah.
Niners, because when we don't need somebody, we like to rest them, and then that bites you. But yeah. Would you take this one? I'll grab some more questions.
All right. Thanks for the question, James. What are your thoughts on Thornhill yesterday? So this seems to be a mixed bag with Juan. He has an affinity to miss tackles in space, and he's got a couple of them from yesterday that I remember, maybe one or two. But I think that he was in really good position most of the game. But you also have to consider if he's playing that deep safety, which he usually is. The deep Spags is having him prevent the take the top off boom shots. There's not much he can do to everything. He's got to be so far back. There's not much he can do to cut things under. I think he played the ball where he got the penalty perfectly. Got to get there that second earlier to make the full play on the football, or time it because you're already behind to get there a little bit late to knock it out. That's the only thing. He had that head of steam. He saw it coming and he got a little excited. Then he just kind of made the wrong play there. So I think he's playing well.
For the most part. I'm with you.
Yeah, for the most part.
Do I want more? I always want more, folks.
Always want more.
I'm with you. Tone, appreciate you. Thanks for the support, buddy. Is it just me, or do the Chiefs fans always overreact to losses? Yes. People forget that we almost had no chance against a great QB like Manning or Brady. Pat gives us a chance in any game, regardless of the opponent. That's fair. It is all relative, but you have to remember a couple of things. There's the 50-year people that got another Super Bowl. Now they want more before they're done watching football. And then you have the ones that grew up in the Pat Holmes era and they were like 12 when they signed him. And it's like now the expectation is every 5 minutes they have to win championships.
Yeah, I'm also going to go to an area where people are going to rip on me for it, and that's fine. But Patrick has a little bit of the blame as well. It's a first down call right after that penalty you got a first down. As a quarterback, maybe he didn't see the guy that was coming in. I don't know. That's not my place to judge. That ball should have been thrown in the dirt. He wasn't open. He was open when you double clutched it. That was when you wanted to throw it originally, but they did a really good job of mixing up the play call. And funny enough, the Bills played mostly a defense that the Chiefs hadn't seen from them on tape. They went from, I think it was 27% man coverage or in all of their games previous to 54%. They played a ton of man. They mixed things up on their safeties. They dropped Matt Milano into a robber role and really spied him a lot too. And that was things that they didn't see on tape. So when you saw that, when they did that post-snap adjustment after that play and you saw the guy coming down, he clutched it because Matt Milano got in the passing lane. After that, you got to throw it in the dirt and kind of live to fight another down. So there's a little bit of responsibility there. But I think overall that fans just kind of get over their skis and everything just they always try to make something as big as they possibly can in terms of this is to blame, that's to blame. It's more nuanced than that. There's a bunch of different things that you can quote unquote blame. Personally, offensive execution is the culprit in this game.
Yeah, overall, I mean, just like you said, you're down. It's first down. You don't have to make every play right there. I think personally didn't see him. Johnson was a guy that I think is more athletic than most people gave him credit for. He scored pretty well in the Matrix, and so he has a little bit more makeup speed than you might have seen on film.
Yeah,
maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but yeah, he definitely was like, I'm going to take this now because I think I can do it.
Yeah,
and that's Pat's a gambler. It's going to bite him every now and then. I mean, this is the first game I can remember where he had just as many interceptions as touchdowns. I mean, that's happened maybe one other time in his career. Yeah. That's really it. But Tone, thanks for the support. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
This is the first time that I'm saying this, but Mahomes needs to step it up in chemistry. The overthrows are getting ridiculous. Also, Chiefs need Brock Bowers. Ooh, Brock Bowers on this offense. Ooh. Burner, I kind of dig that idea. I'm just going to tell you, but he's going to be a top 15 pick. I'll put money on it. But yeah, I mean, that's true. Like there's been a couple of things. It's not as clean. And I think part of that is that it's new pass catchers because old guys adjusted to the ball a little bit more. And so it didn't look as bad, but yeah, there's been more throws, I think, in the first 6 games that are behind guys, especially on the low crossing routes, even to
Mhm.
Kels. I mean, if he hits Kels right yesterday, there's another touchdown in there. If Kelsey doesn't have to like twist all the way back around,
Yep. Yep.
there are some things there. You're on to something, Burner. Chiefs comments. I know when you look at the offense from a macro perspective, it looks very good. But is it fair to be frustrated over underwhelmed with the group on a play-by-play possession basis? That's a good way to look at it. Like, particularly like, it's good to be creative, but if you don't have the practice time, I feel like there's a lot of half-baked plays in this offense. Like a
Yeah.
lot of ideas that get rushed out, particularly outside of the first 15. What they do with the script is crazy good.
Yeah.
You guys can feel the momentum shift as soon as they run out of plays because it's quick, deliver the ball, get it out, run the offense, and then it's we have to adjust to what we've seen, and that's where things start to go wrong. And I think it's a lot of half-baked ideas that aren't fully developed.
Man, if they had that screen to Burton, if it's just on
I
time,
know.
that could have been a touchdown. Like I feel like when you look at the entirety of the last couple of drives, most of what they did was poor play calling, not giving Mahomes enough time to actually putting it in his hand and say, go make a play on first, second down, not be a god on third down, which is what they asked him to do a lot.
Right.
But that play was designed brilliantly and executed almost to perfection. It would have been a touchdown. I still think about that play. Like I saw it because I was at the game. I see it. I'm like, oh, that's a touchdown. If he catches it, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, Mike's quicker than he looks too. So
I know he could make a safety miss in space.
Yeah, believe me, I said this. I was shouting at the television like the dogs ran. I was shouting so much. It was
By the
bad.
way, got some new gear.
Oh, hold on. Let's do this right.
Well,
oh no, that was supposed to be you. Now we'll get it right. There
we got some fancy. This is actually like top of the line. It's got a little grip twist down here. It's super nice.
Dang.
I love this.
We got to get some of those with the RGR on the other side. I'll get right on that.
It's not a good idea.
Need new gear. Okay, I like it. Kyle asked a great question. What position group are you most, or groups he allowed for, are you most concerned about? Go ahead. Get it started.
The tackles. The tackles are the position I'm most concerned about. And there's no help. They don't have any help. They don't have someone that can come in and be a starter for them unless Lucas Niang's can get healthy magically out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Please. I don't know. Please let it happen.
Yeah.
Someone needs to come in. Here's the stat, guys. Mahomes was pressured 20 times yesterday. 20 times. Only 2 of them, because as far as we can tell, only 2 of them were put on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. So he himself caused 2 of those pressures. Wiley was credited with 9 and allowed 3 sacks. Brown had 7 total pressures. This is a huge problem. Obviously, Mahomes getting outside is caused by something. He doesn't trust his tackles. He doesn't trust them. How can you trust them, honestly? You can't if they're continuously giving up almost double-digit pressures together every single week. Yeah. It's nonsense. It's a problem. And it didn't matter that they were trying to help them with reduced split receivers, with chips, with running backs running at them. It didn't matter. They still created a ton of pressures. It's a huge problem, and the one not going away anytime soon.
No, and that's the problem, is like they don't have anything. Orlando's one of the guys that I'm saying, like, if you feel that you just overspent with the franchise tag and you can get something out of another signing or a lesser player, and for those of you who are screaming for Prince Tagovailoa, he ain't the answer. I'm just going to tell you, it's not. He does not have it to play in this league at this level, period.
Nope.
I've seen all I need to see. Nothing's going to change that. And kudos to him for pushing through this long.
Yeah.
The knee was a problem. It killed his development. He's not going to get there. That's just the way I feel. VJ, Isaiah Pacheco needs the majority of the reps. Clyde should be the relief. He can't yet. They don't trust him enough with his vision in the run game, like Dan was talking about. They don't trust him enough to make sure that he's always in protection. He's got to be able to identify routes when he has to go hot, not protect as well. He's just not there yet. It's going to be a bit. But he certainly brings a nice punch to the game.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Clyde, but I'm getting over it. And as much as I like the player, if they're not going to use him properly, they're not going to use him properly. Like, he had no targets yesterday. He had none. Okay. I don't know what's going on there, why that didn't happen. But especially in situations where you're going to use your best coverage linebacker to spy Patrick Mahomes, you might want to get your best pass catching the running back the ball a little bit. I don't know, maybe just a little bit.
He's got a matchup that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 weeks, excuse me, he's had 6 total targets. In the first 3 weeks, he had 12. So there has been a consistency problem, and honestly, he's looked good in the games he's gotten targets because he's getting the ball in space. But you take that away, and guess what? Now you have the running game where he's being used improperly, and they're not using enough gap and power, and it just looks bad. So I'm a little frustrated.
I don't blame you. Frustration is going around, and folks, if you don't want to be frustrated and you want to support us, this is the way to do it. In fact, I put up, they got a new feature here on the old Spring site. The codes that I have active for everybody are running right now. Boom. There's another code that's available that is only for you guys. That's you got to get to the memberships, but it's there for every member. You can find it in the Discord. It's at the top of one of the pages, and I'll make sure that it's posted up there. But right now, still got the Reaper going. I'm just going to leave that because we should have had a good reason to go buy stuff because they should have won that game. But Kingdom is there too for free shipping, so check that out. That supports, gives you something nice for it as well. That said, Chris had a great question. I want to get back to it. Should we call the Panthers the Bears for Burns or Quinn? And again, it's about the cap space. It's who you give up to make that cap space, or what else can you get done? But hey, they traded Robbie Anderson within 18 hours of his total meltdown on the sideline. Why the hell not go try to get? Hey, I'll give you 2 picks for Burns.
Yeah, well,
I got plenty of them.
We can work something out here. I mean, if all it comes to is them making room, making cap space, I think they'll try to do that to get a guy like Brian Burns because. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. They desperately needed a speed rusher for years.
It's the Spag system. He just won't do it.
And that's the problem we're seeing. It's unfolding before our eyes. They can't get pressure with 4. And I will give credit to Spags. Okay, I've seen a lot of hate. I've seen a lot of hate on Twitter about.
I haven't been on Twitter since the game ended.
Oh, man. Good. That's good for you. The reason the Chiefs should have won that game was because of Spags. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he had 2 guys, 2 rookie. He had a rookie in positions where he shouldn't have been. But you want to know what? Those blitzes are calculated risks. Because look at a couple of 3rd down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9s that they didn't allow Buffalo to convert, where he blitzed and he forced Allen out and make inaccurate throws. We look at these games from 2 different spectrums where, he gave up 2 touchdown passes. That's 14 points. The Bills scored 17 for 98% of this game. The offense was not clicking. Spags gave them every opportunity to take control of this game, in my opinion. And I know that we've talked about, those 2 touchdowns that were given up and putting those guys in situations not to succeed. But in order to get the pressure that they needed to get to Allen and move him off his spot and make him less accurate, they had to blitz. So when you think about it in that context, only allowing 17 points for 98% of the game when he's blitzing and making those calculated risks, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, hey, and that's what you got to get. But we've talked about Spags. For every plus, there's generally a minus as well, and his proclivity is to those power edges. George Karlaftis is in Kansas City because of Steve Spagnuolo. Let's not mince words. That's why they said, Steve, what do you need? He said, I want that guy, and that's what they got. The difference is in today's game, the ball comes out so quickly. I just saw another stat. Even though he can't seem to win a ball game, Tom Brady last week, 2.07 seconds was his average time to throw. You can't get there unless you're a speed rusher. And even then, I think Vaughn is showing you, Vaughn's still about as quick as they get. There's maybe 1 or 2 guys. Brian Burns might be a little bit quicker, but it's so difficult. I would sell out to go get Burns. I will give you Orlando. I'll trade you for Icky and Burns. Give me everything you got. I'll give you 3 picks. I do it tomorrow.
They're not gonna give you Icky. They're not giving you Icky.
What? No, I'm saying if you're going to strike a bargain, if the house is on fire and they're ready to move everything, I'm making the offer. I'd never take it if I were them, but you never know when people get desperate.
I like it.
Yeah, hey. Once Niang is able to come back, who do you start? Wiley or Niang going forward? It all depends on how Niang recovers. If he could be better than him right now and not able to walk.
Yeah, can he if he can, is he in playing shape? How long is it going to take him to get in playing shape? Playing weight. All of these things have to counter into what, it happens, and we don't even know if Niang can play. Okay. So if he's healthy, tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, he shows up on the field, gets activated, and he's in playing shape in 2 weeks, you start him, no questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. If he can play part of it, I'll even platoon him.
Yeah.
Give me 40 snaps and I'll let you start and I'll bring Wiley in later. I'll give you rest. I'll do whatever I need to do because we have to improve that. And there's more to it too, because I know some of you may have already heard the Locked On Chiefs show because I already put this out there and I'm going to double down on it today. But I do want to tell you guys, if you don't know us, we are here every Monday night for Q&A all year long. Unless it's a holiday or something happens with my kids, we are here for Q&A on Mondays at 6, period. A lot of you were here last night as well. I appreciate that. But want to make sure that you guys know we have all of our new shows. We're moving the schedule around, finding the best spot. We did the shorts now. Let me know if you guys like the shorts in the chat. FLDB, if you would throw that out, let me know and hit the question marks for me so I can make sure I put that up there. Thank you, because I didn't grab it before we started and I should have. So why won't they use Pacheco short yardage? I think we explained that info. Most national shows pods are saying Pacheco should out-touch. Well, that's because they don't know anything. Most national shows don't have a damn clue. How's that? Because they've tried to. They try to give him a couple looks that are simple for him to make the read and try to make a play. And when he can't do it, I do admit they are too quick to pull the trigger on trying to let him do it.
Yeah, I agree.
They are giving him some shots. Outsnapping Clyde. Running back is always a trust factor for Andy Reid. Never going to change. Always has been, always will be. You can call anybody you want, Brandon Westbrook. Unless he trusts him, he will not play. And they just don't yet. That's it. Flannery won. I like that. 23 actually did pretty well considering he was on an island. He did better once abandoned in press man. Yeah, I mean, and he played better. He recovered and played better later in the game. And I know everybody's disappointed. And Dan, I don't want to take over this because I'm going to be long-winded about it.
No, go for it.
What's your impression of Josh and his game?
I liked what he did. Okay. The biggest thing that we've talked about for years is getting your head around. And he was in a position, he tried to find the ball, and that's where he slowed down a little bit. Okay. That's an adjustment process, is an adjustment factor. He was just a little bit too far behind Gabe Davis to start to get his head around. Okay. And then he just got beat by a better player in Stephon Diggs. All right. I know everyone wants to talk about Gabe Davis pushing off. No, it's the same. In my opinion, it's the same thing that what Travis Kelce did. I know it wasn't called on Kelce. It's not, or it was called on Kelce and it wasn't called on Davis. It's not a penalty. It's no big deal.
It should have been a non-call on both.
Yeah, it should have been a non-call. Unless you're like you can see the receiver go like this, like and literally push and extend all the way with an active push. I'll never say it's a pass interference on the offensive player. So I personally think Williams was good yesterday, and outside of his getting beat deep over top, which again, Josh Allen's a very accurate deep ball thrower now. Like he's going to make those plays. A lot of times quarterbacks don't always make them. So I'm not too worried about it. It was his first real game reps, and it was against Gabe Davis, who in my opinion is a fine player. He's not great, but he can beat you downfield. That's what he's really good at. And Stephon Diggs, who's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. So I'm not too hurt about what Williams did yesterday. I think recovery was more important than getting beat those 2 times.
Yeah, leaving the game with his confidence still intact, I think, was important. Now, I think I saw that. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. Matt's going to talk to him this week, and we'll give you guys an update here later in the week on Lock On, you guys.
Awesome.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. Getting thrown into the fire, having not played the regular season, and I don't care how good you did in the preseason.
Yeah.
The regular season is a different speed. Against Diggs, I would probably call him a top 3, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, probably right now. I wouldn't throw any shade at that.
So I mean. And okay, what did we always tell you? Since the day he got drafted, folks, what's he susceptible to? Same thing with Jalen Watson. If you get past him off the press, they can be run away from. That's just the way it goes. And see, it even depressed Dan's background.
Yep, it's all gone.
How it goes. Folks, FLDB put it in the chat. Go check it out. This is the new link. This is bit.ly RGR Nation. That will get you to the Discord, and you can join from there. It'll prompt you to connect your YouTube account, And so once you do that, you can then join the memberships. Everything will unlock according to your membership tier. That's the way that it goes. FLDB did all of that for us. Me, Stevie, Gooch, and Aaron were standing around watching it. So cheers. Everybody give him a hand because he's taking us places that I haven't been able to get us. So cheers, buddy. And he had a good question. Tobe, Townsend, and Butler were all game for Harrison to go for 71. I kind of wish Andy would have let him try it instead of going for that last short in 66. Do you agree? Oh, that would have been hard to pull the trigger for me. I mean, what's the current record? It's Elam tied at 63, right? With Dempsey?
I think so.
NFL record is 63 yards, I think.
Yeah.
The Chiefs record is now 62. So like, that just tells you, like, okay, yes, he's definitely got 67. The leg. He's had the leg. Is it 67? No.
It might be 67.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. Still, 71's a different ballgame. I think he could have hit it though. So I literally would have had to call a timeout just to get myself through the decision-making process.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved what they did. Honestly, it shows you again that they're just so different. It doesn't matter that the Bills even played it better than last time. Like they did the split kick and they tried to make sure everything was on point, but they still were able to get in field goal. And Butker comes back and hits that. Like that's just something different. He's a game changer. I know he missed a field goal later in the game, but yeah, just so different.
I know, right? Thank you guys. I appreciate it. So Butker or Tucker hit somewhere.
So many different answers down here.
Yeah, that's okay. I had blanked that out because it's Ravens. So what are you gonna do? But no, I think he easily, that kick would have gone for 67. I think he could have pushed it to 71. Yeah. I would. My gut would have said give it to him. My mind would have said you're stupid. Like take it easy. I would have been fighting with myself on the sidelines. Why is Prince on this team and get no snaps? Is because he's not any good. That is just the bottom line. He can't perform well enough. He can't move his lower body fast enough to deal with pass rush. That's it. It's a terrible story. It's an injury situation. It's nothing that he doesn't care or he doesn't want to work hard. He just doesn't have the body to play in this league. Some of us find that out when we get to training camp. Some of us find it out in college. Yeah. We don't have the body to play. It's just the way it goes. What can we do to improve the pass
rush? Right now, there's not much you can do with the pure four rushers. You have two guys in Clark and Karlaftis who, I'll tell you right now, Karlaftis' moves are not coming together. It's not fast enough. The motor isn't enough to get you to the quarterback. I know he's got the rookie lead in pressures right now, but he's not able to disengage quick enough to make those pressures turn into sacks. And that's what it comes down to for specifically the edge rushers. And right now, Chris is getting double teamed a lot and he's getting held. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's going to happen every single week, and they're going to force other guys to beat you besides Chris Jones. And even though he was still winning quite a bit yesterday, he was getting held a lot. And I saw a ton of pulls, a ton of end arounds, like arms around Chris Jones. So they have to keep blitzing.
They don't throw those. Yeah, right now the problem is there's no reason. In my opinion, there's no reason to sell out and blitz send 7. I don't think it's that good an idea to do that. You got to send 5. It completely inconsistently from where they're coming or who's coming. I didn't see Leo blitz, but maybe once. I think that's an issue. I think he is a weapon to use in that role. I will tell you this. The other thing is kudos to George Karlaftis. It's not that he's not performing. He has some limitations in this department. This is what we told you since day one. He is working his butt off, though. He nearly made a play on the sideline.
So
for him to turn around, he was pinned inside. He had to spin out and go get Josh Allen. I mean, that was more movement than I thought he had in him, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I was encouraged watching that play.
It's something when you rely most of the time based on physicality and strength, but when you just let your body react, what it can do without you really knowing. And again, I guarantee you, we saw a flash of the football, and when he spun around, he just started charging. Like that's probably what it was. It was all instinctual. It's hard to teach that, and some players, it takes a long time to develop into their game. And when you start being an instinctual player, and you have more than a couple of different moves at your disposal, you can start to use them instinctually. And he's just not there yet. Okay. Yeah. He's just not there yet. That's all.
It's all his mitts. He's going
Yeah.
to get better at hand combat. Honestly, you should hang out with Tamba a little bit, or even, I just lost his name. The guy that played for Washington that went to Purdue. Ryan
Washington. Ryan Kerrigan.
Kerrigan, yes. He's just going to string his moves together. Like, he will develop that. He will be better at this.
Yeah.
It's just right now he didn't come into the league having that at his disposal. Shout out to Cole. I don't even know that Cole remembers, but he is also now a moderator here in the chat.
Awesome.
So say hello to him. Give him a hand. One of our longtime fans. We appreciate you, Cole. Shout out to Bucker for his career-long stadium 62-yarder. Do you think he had the leg to break the record? Okay, so we covered that. I just want to make sure I got you in here. But yes, I definitely think that he did. And Bucker agrees, I think. 700 yards through 6 games. Do I miss Hill? I don't think so. I don't think Hill makes the difference to win that ball game yesterday.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Based mostly because of the fact that they played 54% man coverage. And while I think I don't know if they would have had much of a choice. They saw what they did against zone with just Kelsey and Hill in the last game. I think they would have had to try something different, and I think that's what would have been it. But I do think that they may have been more explosive in moving the ball, in generating some of their, like, think of the McKinnon play when they were backed up against their own yard line. Imagine if that's Tyreek Hill and not McKinnon. He probably, actually, no, not probably. He does make a first down there, and you have a little bit more room to work with some of your other players. So while I think that he makes it, I don't miss him in that regard. I think collectively they needed a break and break up from the Tyreek Hill experience to get Patrick better. And now that we've seen the crazy that is Tyreek Hill, I'm a little glad that he's over in Miami doing his own thing. Let Patrick kind of develop with other guys and maybe get a little bit better in the process.
I want to name the band Experience. I just want to do that. That's the next evolution for us. D. Wells, Rojo? There is one. He's alive. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't think he has any trade value. He would be a throw-in for me. Like, I would try if somebody needs it. Hey, I got a back for you too. Like, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm working the phones left, right, and center today, now.
For sure.
DJ Moore, I'm sorry, Joel Bennett. DJ Moore, I feel like Mahomes doesn't trust the wide receivers other than Kelsey. I don't think that would change with DJ Moore. It's not who the receiver is, it's the fact that they're new. Who do you think he has the best trust in right now?
I think right now it's Juju.
Yeah.
He's shown that a little bit, but I also think Hardman's starting to get a little bit more trust as well. I think that the last two games he's made some plays, and I think that Patrick has kind of missed him on a few plays last game as well as the game before. But he's starting to become a guy that they can count on to make some explosive plays downfield in back-to-back games now. So you like to see that. I do think right now it's Juju and Travis Kelce as the 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well. Let's hope that they can get that changed around.
Yeah.
Last week I did feel differently. So MVS had a terrible game yesterday.
Yes,
before
he did.
that, he put up some good plays. So it's okay to have peaks. I just need you not to have valleys. I need you to oscillate between good game and average. You know what I mean? I just can't have poor performances, and I'm going to be okay. Drunken German. By the time the playoffs roll around, is Pacheco leading the team in carries and starting? No, I don't think so. If there's an injury, yes, but I don't think so. My only concern that could lead that way is they're using McKinnon a lot right now.
Yeah.
Like, more so than I expected. And we all know that he's a tough dude. He runs hard, which I love, but he's going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it feels like, especially the way that they're using the running backs, that it could end up being Pacheco as the guy by the season's end. My issue becomes that, does he have enough in the consistently making the right decisions to make it a factor? And while I think that, Clyde's had some up and down games this year, some decision-making problems, being set up to fail as well from the offensive coordinators, I think that he's probably still going to be the majority of in terms of true touches is going to be him. But right now, I got no real handle on who it's going to be. They're using all three of them, and they're trying to figure it out. And right now, it's not working for really anybody.
That sucks. Well, you certainly could be right. I don't know. We now have a few years experience with this D-line scheme. Sort of. Although Chiefs comments, I will tell you, the arrival of Colin has changed how aggressive they are. So, like, technically the scheme's probably the same in terms of like assignment, but how aggressive they are and the technique that they use, I do feel that that's changed quite a bit. But how is it this team can be near the top and pressure and not get home? That's exactly what it is. It's the difference between beating the lineman across from you and actually being able to be athletic enough to track down the quarterback, break down, and take him to the floor. That's where they don't finish. Yeah, exactly. They have a lot of power guys who don't get used to the quarterback that much. Honestly, it's not that different than what we saw from Mike Dana and George Karlaftis in college. It's not that they're not progressing. They are what they are. And they can still get better. I didn't feel like Dana looked 100% to me yesterday.
No, he didn't look like he should have been playing, in my opinion, but it felt like they needed bodies apparently.
Yeah, hey, that's the way that it always goes, right? Could always use another one. Love the avatar there. Defense played well. Thank you, Jacoby. But do you find it annoying that Allen has had top 3 defenses in the first 5 years and Beach Reed Spags can't get Mahomes top 15 to relieve some pressure? It's also unique too because Josh was a much bigger gamble when they drafted him. Yes, it's paid off, but in the meantime, they went out and they spent resources on pass rushers like Rousseau. They spent money on D tackles like Oliver, although I'm really pretty disappointed with the evolution of Oliver's career. They went out and they got Trey White, and now they've got Elam. I mean, they've made the investment, whereas the Chiefs kind of laid back and kind of were hands off for a while and relied on 4th round picks and day 3 guys until recently. So that's part of the deal. Kyle, thank you. Appreciate the support. Mitch was pretty incensed on the radio about the OPI on Kelsey. How big of a difference is it a single call can make? Larger issue should the NFL address this? So Mitch, as in Holthus or Schwartz?
Oh, I don't know who he means. I would imagine Holthus, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if it's Holthus, then he's doing his job. Mitch Holthus is not an independent analyst, you guys. He is there to support the Chiefs. So I think he does play those kind of things up as he should. When your title is Chiefs announcer or Chiefs reporter, that's your job. You're not there to be impartial. So read into that what you will. But my big thing is it was called inconsistently. Mm-hmm. If you either called it on both of them or you didn't call it on both of them, I'm okay either way. The problem was you didn't.
And it did make a pretty big impact on the game because they don't score any points from that, or they get a field goal. I forget which one it was, but they were going for a touchdown. That was a touchdown drive. And when you look back at what happened, it could have been a game-winning drive. So there was a pretty big. It's a pretty big impact that it had on the game.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think we should trade for free agent? Or do you think we should get from free agent or trade, assuming what we reconstruct Mahomes' contract? I haven't looked at the free agent class. I got to tell you.
I have not either.
So far, man, I'm not terribly impressed with the tackle group.
Oh no,
a guy that I liked. No, like not yet. I'm waiting for somebody to step forward. I thought Jackson Kirkland got hurt last year and he was gonna come around. Quite frankly, he looks better as a slow-footed guard right now after his injury than he does at tackle. Like, I don't. Skoronski, I don't know. I'm nothing special in my opinion. I just don't see the tackle class.
And he's probably going in the top 20.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the best tackles in the group.
OT1 probably, right?
Yeah.
So it's not but I will say this. He wouldn't have scratched the top 3 last year, probably not the top 5. I think, and I don't like Penning, but I think Penning's better than him.
Yeah.
So
he was also playing better before he got hurt.
True. Spards, this year's going to be epic. They'll figure it out. We're light years better than they were last time. That's fair point. 13-4. Good to see you guys. Thanks for the education. Thank you for the support, buddy. And I do like the avatar, like the bearded hippie thing. I did. I'm gonna have to steal that. It's got to be on some app somewhere, right? Words on fire. Why do the Chiefs feel that the mediocre, non-existent pass rush is okay? Wasn't this the house It was. But that was Marty Ball and Gunther Cunningham running the show. It was not Steve Spagnuolo. Steve wants power guys. He's not interested in the speed rush. You can watch the evolution. It is Lawrence Taylor to Derek Thomas to Von Miller. That is the epicenter of power and speed. They don't do that here.
Yeah, I want you guys to go back and just kind of watch some of the New York Giants from some Spags days. Look at the quarterbacks they're going up against, and then tell me why they're not working nowadays. The pass rushes. Just kind of tell me why, and you'll understand why it's not working and why Joe Cohen was brought in. Maybe you'll have a little more impact on some of the guys, or maybe more voice on some of the guys that are brought in this next offseason.
And that's the key. If you can get better tackle play so that they can't run down your throats, then you can go with speed rushers on the outside. You don't have to worry about the run game chewing you up so badly. You have athletic linebackers. I'll give you that. Up and down play so far because Willie hasn't been out there. I think Willie being on the field changes the scenario here. Is he eligible this week, I think?
Yes, he
Didn't
is
Andy
eligible
say
to come back this week.
Hey. Swag boy, cheers to you. And thanks for watching. I hope that we've shown you something. You know, between our collective our collective effort at this thing, it's definitely there. You know, I coached for going on 8 years. So like there's a lot of experience there. Most channels can't say that. So we try to rely on what we know and what we've continued to learn. So I hope that works well for you, and good luck. I'm pulling for you internship wise. That
Me too.
Awesome. If I had to do over again, I'd do exactly what you're doing right now. How fast do they need to improve this before they get themselves into a hole too deep to dig out of?
I mean, are they in a hole?
Let's be honest. That's the best team in the AFC, maybe the NFL right now, that they just lost to by 4 points.
Yeah.
They're okay. The hole might be here. They're not over their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm not super worried about them being in a hole. I'm less worried about the playoff seeding personally. I don't really care myself. Obviously, we'll see how they handle it, but Mahomes has never played, a playoff game away from home. So there's that to be kind of factored in. Oh, wait, no, he did against Pittsburgh, right? It was
I suppose. I don't know.
I don't remember. Whatever. I don't care. I don't think it matters that much, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, they play in the playoffs pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll be all right. Kurt has a great question. Rate Spags on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, overall and in situational downs. Go ahead.
Oh, man. I'm going to give Spags a 6.5. Because I think there are some things there are some things that I would do so differently. But I will give credit where credit is due. That dude can confuse a quarterback with safety, corner, linebacker movements. He is extremely gifted in pre-snap movements and moving safeties around and adjusting that. I have, my issues with the defensive line construction and how he wants them and how he forces corners to play. I have issues with that schematically wise as well. And that also forces a certain type of corner into the team. That's why I was so happy when they drafted Trent McDuffie. He can play man coverage. He's not going to get too beat over the top because he's in good position all the time. So we'll see. What about you?
Well, it's funny you say that way. Like saying that is saying that he's got a good, consistent base. That's what Steve Spagnuolo has. If this were the 2000s, maybe up to like 2012 and the style of play that was going on, Steve Spagnuolo would be an 8 or a 9.
1,000%.
Today, he's a 7 at best, probably more like a 6. I don't like the halves, so I ain't going to do that because he has failed to adapt his front. Like Dan said, he is very, very good at manipulating the back end, but the front has not evolved as much as the back end has. And he's stubborn. And when he gets nervous, he goes to old habits. That's why you see on plays where he could send pressure with 5 or 6 at most, he sends 7, gets himself burnt. Yeah. Then when he should be applying pressure, he doesn't. It's just situationally, I'd give him a 4. I just don't think that he understands what modern quarterbacks do as well. And he hasn't come along with the times as much. Andy's not a good game manager. Thank you, DS, by the way. He nearly lost the game last week, did so this week. I mean, he didn't throw the interception.
No.
So could he have done things better? Sure. Could have saved a few seconds, but
At
he
the
didn't
end
throw
of the
that
day,
ball.
at the end of the day, I think execution is probably 40% of Andy Reid's play calling decisions. Like you give him 60% of the blame and you take 40% for the offensive execution. I wasn't happy with essentially taking the ball out of Mahomes' hands on most of those downs, quick throws and screens and running the ball in some of the situations. But I mean, he didn't throw the pick. Like he didn't make Mahomes throw that football.
Yeah. Hey, at some point you got to protect it as well. Frey, hope you're doing well. Both tackles are top 5 in pressure. Yeah, I saw that from Eric as well.
Yeah.
And Andy's still running the same offense. Mahomes carried them and made magic. Yep, and he still can, and that's what Andy's continually searching for. This is my problem in general. They do just enough to get by. That is their game plan every week. And that's why they might rest Trent McDuffie right now and give him an extra 2 weeks to rest, because coming off this game, they get a bye. Like that's my problem. Like there isn't enough jugular hunting for me. That's what I need to see more.
It's a big problem.
MH, thank you. We're going to wrap it up here with the last few here, folks, as we get down to time. Should Brown be moved to right tackle? And this, John, I said it earlier just to give you a hint. This is what I was talking about on Locked On Chiefs. This is the situation that you're going to get yourself in. Right now, he's not worth the tag that he's playing on. If you can't move him, then you have to go get a tackle in free agency to play left. And you have to say, guess what, Orlando? You had your chance. You are a right tackle, period. You don't like the franchise tag? Sign a lower contract. End of story. That's what I'm doing at this point, because I know he's playing through a knee injury. At the end of the day, it's not enough. The bottom line is it's not enough.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at. And I think it might be the same old conundrum. He might be in the same situation where they're like, we're not going to pay you like a left tackle. You got to play right. He may walk away from that. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, but that's kind of his own problem.
Yeah. At the end of the day. Holly, thank you.
Thank
Kudos
you,
to him
Holly.
for finally posting something positive about Tommy Townsend. Good job. I must have missed that. Like I
He's
said,
having a good season. He's having a really good year. I think he's playing the best he's ever played. And that's, very evident with the Chiefs offense struggling every now and then. So he's done a great job.
That's awesome. Holly. Like I said, I have not looked at Twitter. Like I have posted a couple things just because I put them in there and scheduled them out, but I have not been on Twitter on purpose. So if you tried to get to me, I haven't been around. KL, hope you're doing good. Give Chiefs Kick them something positive takeaway from Jay Will's first start. See a lot of negativity. We talked about it before. Walking into your first regular season game against Diggs, I mean, come on. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he played well outside of, getting beat deep down the field, which is kind of what we've seen in this defense. I don't even know if it's necessarily a corner issue. It might just be a defensive issue, guys. It might just be the fact that Spag says, I don't care. And I'm going to continue to put even good. Like if Trent McDuffie comes back next week and gets beat down the field by Brandon Ayuk on a touchdown and there's no safety help over top, it's not a corner problem. It's a defensive strategy scheme problem.
And that's it. Like it's sacrificing your front at the expense of your secondary and making them man up when you have multiple rookies starting. It's silly. That doesn't change with Trent McDuffie. He's a rookie too. When you have that many rookies in the secondary, you have to protect them more. And I don't care if it's conservative. You give up more runs, fine. You give up more like 8-yard middle sit downs, fine. I'll live with that. But getting beat over the top, I just can't stomach it. Well, is there any way to upgrade at either tackle spot before the deadline? I mean, I really don't feel that you can. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But it's got to come from within. I don't see anybody else on the roster. The only thing is if Niang is healthy. If he rolls in healthy, that's going to be a lift. That's it. Let's see. Roy, speed rusher or tackle? What's the biggest need, Dan?
Tackle.
Yeah?
Honestly, it's tackle. I think their defense is playing well enough to win all of these games. Every single one of them. So
I will tell you this. the tackle is what's weakening your strength.
Yeah.
The pass rush is not deterring. In fact, overall as a defense, they're getting enough collapse of the pocket and pressure that it's helping the overall defense. So it's got to be tackle.
Yeah,
Why don't we start Moore instead of MVS? Because he doesn't know the offense yet. That was very clear. On that interception, he needs to work back. He needs to extend. He let the ball come into his body, and that's part of how Johnson got his hands on it. That's just being the rookie and understanding how tight things are at all times. He's just not there yet. We can't expect people to walk in and be veterans as rookies. It's just not the way it works. We are in that situation, and the Chiefs put themselves in this situation, but those expectations are out of bounds. Honestly, who emerges as the wide receiver 1 by playoffs? We'll need it. I still feel it's going to be Juju.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that in the traditional sense. They don't have one. I'll be honest with you guys. They don't have one. It's Travis Kelce, and then you have a bunch of collective guys. There is no true number 1 wide receiver. They're kind of hoping that Sky Moore can solve some of their getting open against man coverage issues. They schemed well against the Raiders. Awful secondary. It wasn't because the Raiders were, really good defense and they just really ran good routes. Their secondary is awful, and they beat man in that regard. But the Bills had injuries, and they're starting 2 rookies just like the Chiefs at corner, and they're much more comfortable playing them in man in situations than the Chiefs kind of are. So, kind of shows you.
Agreed. Thank you, Josh. Royce, I like the shorts. That's cool. This is my favorite RGR show of the week. I like them. They're all good to hear from the fans. Thanks. Thank you, Royce. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
you guys.
You.
We're going to finish up with the super chats, and then we're going to roll out of here because I got to get kid to practice here in a minute. What was KC doing during Allen's 1 for 10 stretch? Are there any takeaways from the Chiefs defense for future Bills opponents? Go Hawkeyes. Thanks, Megs. Appreciate you. Honestly, what they're doing is they were sending guys differently. Josh had to look around more so than I felt that he did before. I have not rewatched, and I haven't seen 22 yet. So that's just going off of my base notes.
Yeah, they were sending guys, and they were moving up off his spot. If there was one thing about Josh Allen, is that when he does get a little sped up, when you get a blitz off the edge and he doesn't necessarily see it right away, you can force the ball out quickly. And that's when you're the erratic, and that's when you're going to see him be inaccurate. And Spags was dialing up the pressure and finding more creative ways to get a free rusher and maybe a little quicker pressure in his face. And that's what you saw there. It was him just doing a good job of getting guys free rushers and forcing the ball out quick.
Yeah. All right. And keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Just got to be able to adjust as well.
Yep.
Because they will figure you out. Brandon, thank you for the support. I was trying to say last night, Atlanta traded Deion Jones for a box of rocks. What says they won't do the same for Grady Jarrett? You never know. This is like prime. Hey, what do you need for this guy? I got draft picks. I got washed up tackles. I got a couple of other ideas. I have a firstborn child you can have. Like, get her done. You know what I mean? Thank you, Brandon, and thank you, Quentin. Should we be concerned about the run defense yet? I mean, yeah, it looked really good through a couple of weeks of non-excellent teams. This was another non-excellent team. They did the one thing that I told them they had to do in the game plan is don't let Josh run all over you. That doesn't mean let Singletary run all over you.
I mean, the Bills read what the Raiders were doing last week, and they were like, "Yeah, all right, we can
do
honestly, that." The Bills can run the football. They're kind of like the Chiefs where they choose not to, but when they put their mind to it and they say, we'll bring our fullback out, we'll run the ball down your throat when you have nickel on the field because we don't think your linebackers can get in their gaps, and your front four is going to play the pass first, which is exactly what they did, and they just ran it into them.
Yeah, it's got to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And honestly, I think Turk was better than we gave him credit for versus the run. Nadi had a kind of a bad string. Nadi was uncharacteristically soft against the run yesterday. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's something going on with him that I don't know about.
I don't know.
Still crazy. Welcome back to the memberships. Cheers to you. You should be able to tie that YouTube account to your Discord account and get into the memberships without me having to send you an email. Again, thanks to FLDB.
Thank you.
Flapjack, hope you're doing well. If we dropped a first round and a second round, plus swapping thirds for Frank Clark, Brett Veach better be on the phone to Carolina for the next month. I mean, I hope so. That's all I can ask. Jaden, why is it that Andy is so great but can be so dumb at times with play calling and executing and managing the game? It's about interpretation, and honestly, Andy's pretty instinctual. So I think it's just a misjudging what he can actually get done.
Yeah, it's overconfidence, I think, in my personal opinion. He thinks that almost no matter what he calls, they should be able to execute, and they don't always do that. And sometimes they're poor situational calls.
Sometimes it happens. Thank you, Flapjack. Thank you, Jaden. Scott, who's the dude wearing red on Thursday night? Dude wearing red on Thursday night.
I don't know.
Oh, I wonder who this could be. The fabulous Miss Avery. Famous.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not sure who you mean, Scott. I'm not sure who that was. But it could have been me. I don't know. I'll wave at you again.
Thursday night. I'm not trying to figure out what he means by Thursday night. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Sorry, Scott. Hit me again. Actually, we're going to wrap up here in a second after Tom. So sorry. We're still in good shape. We lost last year, and Tennessee went to the first. We still played at Arrowhead Invitational at home once again. Great job, guys. Thank you, Tom, and thanks for your support. And I like the fact that you see it from a positive point of view. I'm totally with that. Like this can be recovered from, even if they don't get the 1 seed. Yeah. That's not a necessity for this team to win.
Oh, he was saying Seth was actually wearing red on Thursday night, apparently.
Oh, I didn't catch that. So busy around here, you guys. I don't get to actually watch everybody's content anymore. I used to preview everything. Yeah, they could be saying some outlandish stuff. Seth probably is, and I don't know. Tom, we getting anywhere in free agency with a DE savior? I don't think so. I have not looked at the free agent class yet, just because of where we are in the season. But we'll take a look at that. Thank you guys for all your support tonight. Thank you for being here. I know it's not everybody's favorite topic, but hey, we got to get it done. Thank you to Miss Avery for being here, making us all look better. If you guys want to get into the Discord, we do want to grow it for all of you subs. If you join this, you'll get an invite, and then you'll be able to connect your YouTube account, and that will get you into the right membership level. You can then sign up and have full access. Thank you for joining us tonight, Dan. Thanks for taking the time away from the little one.
Always, guys. We'll be here every week, every day, with all the content you ever need.
Yeah. Check out NFL 33. I had a cool piece last week on quarterbacks. I'll have another one soon. I don't know when. I got pass rusher stats to come at you. So there's a lot going on. We're going to get ready. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.